my name is Roshane Robbins. I'm the natural science teacher here at Roper Mountain Science Center. We are in our marine lab, and I'm going to talk about a variety of invertebrates here in our marine touch tank. So we're going to start out with talking about our sponges here. We have a dead specimen here. A lot of people might have think of these when they're bathing. So they're very, very simple. They do not move except in their very early life cycle stages. They'll take in oxygen through that central cavity, and they are our filter feeders. So here are just two examples of sponges that maybe you've seen around, but they're really fun and simple. So when we're looking at this touch tank, we have a few varieties. Let's start by talking about this. This is our chocolate chip sea star. I like to call them sea stars because they're not fish. And so I call them sea star instead of a starfish, but they take in oxygen through their tube feet right here. And you can see this one is hanging out. He's actually putting out his tube feet to surface skim. He might be collecting some particles from the surface of the water here. That's how they take in oxygen. That's how they move. And the really interesting thing is they do not have a mouth. They'll stick their stomach out from this region right here. So I wonder, I'm gonna gently touch these two, and we're gonna look at how the tube feet react, and it's gonna have a behavior to like preserve and protect itself. And we're gonna see what's going on the underside. All right, so I'm not gonna pull anymore because I don't wanna damage those little tube feet, but they're just kind of chilling together. They are cannibalistic a little bit, so we do have to keep an eye on them because they will eat each other. They will pry open one of these. So these are mussels. These are actually leftover. This is a bivalve. Bi means two, so that's gonna close. And these are mussels that we actually feed to not an echinoderm, which means spiny skin, but to this really cool mollusk over here. This is a horse conch, and I'm gonna attempt to kind of get him off of our wall here so that you can see. Oh, here we go. Take a look. He might squirt you, watch out. So, oh, there he goes. This horse conch, he's so cool. He's a carnivore. He eats a lot of these mussels in here. This is his muscular foot. It's really squishy if you touch it. And he is actually pulling that in to protect himself. And he will use this gill cover to completely enclose himself in protection. It's really cool because he made this shell, and he starts out teeny, teeny, tiny, and they use the calcium carbonate from the water to make their own shell. Now, if they get eaten or they die for any reason, other animals like hermit crabs will use their shells. So the water he's squirting out is just displacing the water as he pulls himself in. It's not really that he's mad at me, but he's a really cool guy that I like to feature. We have a really cool invertebrate in this tank. We have an arthropod, which means jointed foot. This is a horseshoe crab. Now these guys, we have a couple small ones. This is like a juvenile right here. He's digging into the sand, trying to protect himself. They have compound eyes on the top, and they breathe with gills. I'm gonna actually flip this one over so that you can see the gills. These are the gills, and you can see they have 10 legs, so this is classified as a crustacean. Now, a really cool thing I like to show people is I'm gonna let him fall down to the sand. He's gonna use his tail like a lever to put himself over to protect himself so that his vulnerable side is not exposed. And then he's gonna do a different behavior after that. Predict what behavior he's gonna do next. And if he would do that, he would probably, oh, if you look at where the little guy is, what did he do? He dug down into the sand. So again, this is a crustacean, which is an arthropod. We're gonna walk past our stingrays and look briefly at two cartilaginous fish. We have a coral cat shark and a bamboo shark and a stingray in our touch tank. And these are actually vertebrates, even though their skeleton is made of cartilage instead of bone. And they breathe with gills in the water, and they're carnivores. They don't compete because we feed them enough. And in our last tank on this side, we have some really cool hermit crabs. Can you guess what type of animal that is? If you are thinking arthropod, you would be correct because they have really cool jointed, oh, he went in. Let's see if he'll come out if I do this. He has really cool jointed limbs and the eye stalks that come out. You might be able to see this one right here. They can sense the shadows and kind of pull in. But he is also a crustacean. So these are some of our invertebrates and a few vertebrates in our marine touch tank. Which one was your favorite and which one would you like to visit on one of our public days?